Greetings everyone, and thank you for joining me on this first ever collection room tour. As you can probably see, there's a hell of a lot to get through, so grab a cup or glass of your favourite beverage, park yourself in your comfiest seat, and without further ado, let's get down to it. Before we get down to all the 1/6 scale goodness, I thought I'd show you a few of the nooks and crannies and corners of the collection room. Over here we've got a copy of the Trick or Treats Book of the Dead, Necronomicon Ex Mortis. We've also got the Trick or Treats Kandarian Dagger, both from Evil Dead 2, and also a custom-made Lament configuration cube from Hellraiser. And over in this corner we've got the Pure Arts Ezio de Auditore quarter scale. I absolutely love this piece. It occupies a corner of the collection room and occupies a very special place in my heart. One of the first quarter scale pieces I bought, and I absolutely love it. So, on to the details. There's 14 in total. We'll start with the horror section, and on top there we've got the Sideshow Collectibles Dracula. He was going to be paired with the Peter Cushing, but when Caustic Plastic announced they were doing them both in 1/6 scale, I sort of held back, but he still makes a great centerpiece. So yeah, so we'll start from the top and work our way down. First is the Asmus Toys, Evil Dead 2, Ash. I love this base. The base made it for me. The figure is caused a bit of controversy. I like it. I think it's a good likeness of Ash, Bruce Campbell. I've done some mods to this, scruffed it up a little bit, added some extra blood, the scars on his stomach, some extra blood to the face, weathered it a lot, but yeah, that base is quite spectacular. I'm still loving it, even today. Going down, next stop we have the Sideshow Freddy Krueger, and next to him is the Bedman David from Lost Boys. I know Sideshow are redoing this character. Be interesting to see what the final product looks like, but I do love those head sculpts. I know Redman recast this from a custom figure, but I still like it. Going down again, we come to Art Figures Riddick from Pitch Black, paired up with Hot Toys, Brandon Lee, the Crow. That jacket, well, let's not get into that jacket and pleather. The bane of everybody's life, but I still like the figure. I still prefer it to the Sideshow one, to be honest. It's the head sculpt that does it for me. I think the likeness there is fantastic. I'm going to be customising that, getting it a new leather jacket and doing some work on it, but there are so many bits of work that I need to do. The list is long, as is the queue. Moving down is, and I'm having to bend over for this, so bear with me. We've got the Mezco, Pinhead, Hellraiser. I was going to get the 3.0 version, but I was not struck by it at all. The head sculpt was off to me. The tailoring on it was wrong. This is not technically an action figure, more of a plastic statue, if you will, but I still prefer it. And that diorama there is a custom one, made by a chap called Sean Ratty in the UK, who has done pretty much all the custom dioramas that you'll be seeing today. So let's go back up to the top. In fact, let's stay down here. If I'm going to break my back, I'm going to do it for a good reason. Moving on to the Craft One, Jack Torrance from The Shining, and the Redman twins. Once again, this is a custom base by Sean Ratty in the UK, and a very nice job he's made of it too. I don't know whether you can make out there, it even says Red Rum on the door. Moving up, and we've got the Blitzway, Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, as played by Anthony Hopkins. I've got both versions here. There's the seated version and the straitjacket version. I do love these figures. There was once again a bit of controversy about the head sculpt on these and the pictures that were initially released not matching the head sculpt, but I still love it. I think it's fine. The only complaint I've got is that his feet don't touch the floor. on that chair. Need to take the casters off at some point. Moving up, it's the Interview with a Vampire shelf. Now, these are actually made by, the Lestat is made by DDZ, was recently released, but the Louis is made by Figure Masters, and if you get the deluxe pack, you get 2 figures. You get the long hair version there and the classic costume. But yeah, I think they work well together. And moving up from there, we have got the Caustic Plastic, Bela Lugosi. As I understand it, that's their best-selling figure of all time, and I love it. Absolutely amazing figure. Next to him, we've got the Nosferatu. If you check out my channel, I did a review of him recently. Both coffins in the background there, and the usual amazingly high standard from Caustic Plastic. Moving along to the next shelf, what we have here is Vampirella. I was after this figure for quite some time. Took some finding, but managed to finally get my hands on it. It's made by TBC League and Bison. What I paired her up with on that wonderful base, and trust me, it took me a long time. You can probably see actually there. There's some tape holding that foot down. But yeah, superb. And I paired her up with the NECA Kessler Wolf. Now, I know that I'm mixing scales here, but they just work together, and she looked a bit lonely on her own. Yeah, it's a great figure, literally and metaphorically. Right, moving down, we have the Present Toys Hannibal, Mads Mikkelsen. I just love the TV series. I think it's a pretty good likeness there of Mads. Pretty good. It's a good figure. Present Toys make solid figures, but nothing that absolutely blows your mind. Next to him, the Iconic Studios, Patrick Bateman. That's another custom job that I've got to do. Going to be looking at some blood spatter on that coat, that overcoat, some painted blood spatter on the axe rather than the plastic effect. But yeah. Moving down, and we have got Hot Toys. I think this is only our second Hot Toys visit in this shelf. We have It Pennywise from It Chapter 2. It's a great figure. Done a little bit of work on this one, just with the ruffles on the neck there. But yeah, still an amazing figure. And finally at the bottom, we've got the Sideshow Michael Myers with another Sean Ratty custom base. I love this base. The work he's done on this base here is great. So what we've got here is Michael outside the house, and it really lends itself to using the accessories that it comes with. So that's the horror shells. Let's move on to the back wall. And onto the back wall, and in the corner of the back wall, I think there's about 9 details on this back wall in total. They're all lit by C. Frank light bars. Some are warm white, others are bright white, and the spots are actually just battery operated remote control multicoloured from you can get off Amazon for a relatively cheap price. So on top of the first detail is the Sideshow Dutch from Predator. Give you a quick zoom around that. One of my first statues, this one. I'm still loving it. Although that skin is not the best texture, best colour rather than paintwork. It's good, but it ain't brilliant. Okay, moving down, we've got Thor Hot Toys. That base is by Toys Box. It's just so we can catch the ultraviolet on that. Moving down, sticking with the Marvel theme, we have Hawkeye, Doctor Strange, and Star-Lord. Good movement, I like that. I love that Hawkeye figure. That head sculpt is still one of my favourites. Moving down again, we've got the Hot Toys Hellboy, and we've got the Iconic Studios Ryu Street Fighter. They are 2 of the most solid figures I've got in my collection. They really are. by solid I mean the way that they're built. Those bodies are amazing. And dropping down to the bottom shelf, we have Hot Toys Barney Ross from Expendables 2 and the Big Chief Studios Captain Scarlet from the 1960s TV show. We'll stay at the bottom, move along. What we've got next are Superman toys. Superman toys, Agent K and Deckard from Blade Runner 2049. Not much to say on these. I do like the head sculpt on the Deckard. It's very good. Moving up, a classic we all know and love, the Hot Toys Christopher Reeve Superman with that wonderful base. One of my first Hot Toys purchases, and I still think today that head sculpt holds up. Quite spectacular. Up to the next shelf, Marvel theme continues. I think we'll recognise who these two are. And up again, we've got the Batman and the Superman from Dawn of Justice. Oh, and I almost forgot. Let's get this guy lit for you. On top of that shelf, here's the Hot Toys Jake Sully from Avatar. And we'll move across and down on the next one next to him. I stole your light, I apologise. It's the NECA quarter scale Batman. Very nice. Still pretty good. Not perfect, but very nice. Moving down. Yeah, probably people will recognise the DX19. I think it's the DX11 as well, the Joker. And in the back there, I've made use of that head sculpt of the body in a suit to try and kit bash a Bruce Wayne. I'm not 100% happy with it. Dropping down, we've got the Predator, the classic Predator from Predators. I was going to get the one from the first film, but I heard some bad stories about it, so I decided to go with this one. It's had some mods to it. The tethers on the elbows, the skull necklace is an addition, but yeah, I do love that figure. And down to the next shelf, we have got Sideshow's Snake Plissken. And that base is on, actually I need to check this, yes, it's a TB League, I believe it's a TB League base. Double check that while we're talking here. It's gone quiet. Yeah, there we go. It's TB League Valiant Bloodshot base. I've got a couple of them. I think they make great bases for anything that's sort of any urban based figure. Drop down again. And there's the Hot Toys Bruce Lee, the pair. I love the actual diorama that this comes with, but there simply isn't the space in the details to display them with that. Moving on. Dark Toys Mad Max, Premier Toys Wasteland Marauder. I've customised the Wasteland Marauder a little bit. That base is a custom one, obviously. They're not perfect either, but yeah, the Max. I think we're still waiting for a really, really spot-on Mad Max 2, the Road Warrior. But he'll do until that comes along. Above that is the nod to Star Wars and my favourite Star Wars film, The Empire Strikes Back. We've got Darth Vader there, we've got the Snowspeeder Luke, and in the back, actually it isn't a 6, well, it's not technically a 6 scale, but it's a Sphero remote control R2-D2. Moving up is the Alien shelf, all Hot Toys. We've got the Hot Toys Aliens Alien Warrior at the back there, because getting your hands on an original alien that's not perishing with the rubber is difficult, so I decided to mix and match a bit. But also at the back there you've got very old Hot Toys Dallas. Still stands up today, this figure. That Ripley head sculpt is still stunning. Moving up again, and we have Batman and Robin, Batman Forever. Relatively new, these two. Those suits are incredible. I'm not the biggest fan of the film, to be honest, but these figures are just, I think, some of Hot Toys' best work. Although I'm not sure about those suits standing the test of time. And at the back there we have got the Riddler. It was played by Jim Carrey. And I am at a loss to tell you who manufactured that. I think it's Mars Toys. Possibly Mars Toys are releasing a version of that Riddler. The head sculpt looks a lot better. I'm not 100% sure about that head sculpt. But yeah, hopefully the Mars Toys version will be better than that. Moving along. And 89 Batman, both Hot Toys, obviously. My partner still loves this head sculpt. He is absolutely in love with this head sculpt. And I've got to admit, I agree with her. It still stands up today as possibly one of the best head sculpts Hot Toys have ever done. Yeah. Moving down, we have the homage to the Matrix. We've got the Hot Toys, Neo, obviously, and behind him and next to him, the Trinity and the Morpheus, both third party, but still pretty good. For a third party, that head sculpt on Lawrence Fishburne is outstanding, I think. But they set each other off nicely. Moving down again, we come to my Cyberpunk 2077. The bike and the V, made by Pure Arts. The Johnny Silverhand is Hot Toys. Yeah, still love that bike. I think that bike is brilliant. And I know this Hot Toys Johnny Silverhand is coming for some stick, but I think it's very good. Very, very good. And dropping down again, finding at the bottom there, we've got the VTS Max from Fury Road, and what is one of my favourite figures, this Immortan Joe figure. I think the picture's going to do it justice. It's one of those in-hand figures. Get it in hand, and the quality and the detail on that is incredible. Okay, moving on. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. Okay, Blitzway, Fight Club. We all recognise Tyler Durden, I think. And next to him, Brad Pitt again, in Inglourious Bastards. That's Aldo Rain. So yeah, that's the Brad Pitt shelf. Moving up, that's Miss Toys, Hateful Eight. Yeah, we've got a trio there from that film. I do like the Hateful Eight. I'm a bit of a Tarantino fan, so moving up again, we've got the Hot Toys Robocop. That's the one that came with the mechanical chair, but I simply don't have the space to display it. And the Art Figures Judge Dredd with a custom base. Moving up, relatively new edition. It's the 89 Mime Joker. This has got a shelf to itself simply because I love that base, and yeah, that sort of speaks for itself, that figure. Not popular when it was first released, but it's gained some ground and some traction since then. I think it's wonderful. Absolutely love it. Moving on. Hot Toys again. Batman and Robin, 66. This is the use of that other Valiant Bloodshot base. I think it works quite well with these two. We go down to our T2 shelf. Got the Battle Damage T100, the T1000, and the Sarah Connor. That was difficult to get hold of, that Sarah Connor. Not one for posing on that one. That body is notorious for ripping. I'll drop down again. And it's the 3-0 Rambo from First Blood. Now, I still love First Blood. I think it's a great film. I'm not 100% keen on everything that followed, but that first film was amazing, and 3-0 have done a great job here. Really have. The likeness there is wonderful. And finally, on the bottom shelf here, Dragon in Dreams, 1917. Got a bit of a military theme going on here. The head sculpt on that Benedict Cumberbatch from Dragon in Dreams is really, really good. But yeah. And continuing on the bottom shelf, pull out a little bit.
Here we have, I'm going to say the horrendous word that strikes fear into every 6-scale collector's heart, Star Race. Yeah, it's the Star Race, Steve McQueen from The Great Escape. That's a custom base there. Was built for this figure. The bike isn't screen accurate, but what the hell. And I love the diorama. So we'll move up a shelf. And yeah, here's the Western shelf, bit of a Western thing going on. We've got the Present Toys Doc Holiday, that's a relatively new edition. And at the back there, the Present Toys Django. And next to him, the Caustic Plastic John Wayne. Moving up, I've got a Star Trek theme coming on here. So what we've got here is the QMX Dr. McCoy. We've got, and the XO6 Sulu and Spock from the episode Mirror Mirror, the Mirror Universe versions. Really great head sculpts from XO6 there, quality work. And that captain's chair, I believe, is from QMX as well. Moving up, one on his own, which makes a change. This is the Org Toys Paul Atreides from June. I'm looking forward to the release of the still suit version, which is coming soon. But this is a solid figure. Really, really like it. Some nice accessories with it as well. Moving on. What we got here is the Executive Replicas 2001. I'm still after the red suit, Dave Bowman. So if anybody out there knows where I can source that, please send me a message, drop me a line. I've been hunting for it for years. And next to it, we've got the Premier Toys Martian, which I reviewed recently on the channel. If you want to know a little bit more about that one, check out the channel. Dropping down, again, the Star Trek theme continues. We're still with XO6 here. And this is obviously Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock from Star Trek The Motion Picture, the 79 film. Lovely work there. Take a closer look at those head sculpts. Yeah, XO6 are really, really on the rise. Dropping down, another classic figure. It's the Hot Toys 300 King Leonidas on a custom base. Still a solid figure and a bit of a grail for me. Finally managed to bag it after a long, long time. And finally, on the bottom shelf, down for this section anyway, if I can get this thing to work. There we go, let's come in at an angle. Here we go. Yeah, we've got the Sideshow on the left and the Hot Toys on the right. That's the General on the right. Some little Planet of the Apes homage going on in this bottom corner. And that is the back wall. So let's move on. And finally, before we move on to the last set of details, a quick mention to these guys on top, who I completely forgot about. In the centre here, we've got the Immortal Hero by War Story. Meant to be 1/6 scale, near a 1/4 scale, but still it's got one of the best capes I've ever seen, best wide capes I've ever seen, and the shelf presence is just amazing. I have him front and centre on the back wall. I'll just take a few steps back here so you can just see. Yeah, great centerpiece. Next to him is the Hot Toys Thanos. Still love this piece. Great. And next to him, we've got the NECA 1/4 scale Pinhead from Hellraiser. And finally in the corner, it's the 1/4 scale Spider-Man Homecoming. Just before we move on to the last two details, an honourable mention to this little space filler between them, which is the NECA 1/4 scale Big Boy and the NECA 1/4 scale Predator, and we've got a facehugger down there, a random facehugger. I'm not quite sure who manufactured that. Moving on to the final details. We'll start at the top. On top there we've got the Hot Toys Light Cycle from Tron. Now I've been after that for a while, finally managed to bag it. It goes for silly money. I got mine for a reasonable price, and I love it, absolutely love it. I haven't got it lit up at the moment, but when it is lit up, it looks spectacular. It's just too much like hard work at this point in time. But yeah, moving down from there, and the first thing we come to is the Twin Peaks Caustic Plastic Dale Cooper. Now, I only got that recently. There is a review up on my channel. Please watch it if you're interested. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up. Very impressed. Love that bass. Coming down, and we've got a bit of a James Bond homage going on here. This is all Big Chief Studios. So as you can see, we've got Dr. No, Goldfinger, and James Bond tuxedo version. Such a shame that Big Chief went under. They were producing some really, really great stuff. I'm sorry to see that they are no longer with us. Dropping down, once again, Big Chief Studios. This is the Peaky Blinders, Arthur and Tommy. The signature versions, and those are actually genuine signatures. I was really surprised, but they have actually been signed by the actors themselves. They're really, really good. I do like them. It should be an honourable mention as well for the boxes that these things come in. They're quite amazing. Dropping down, we've got a bit of a mix and a match down here on this bottom shelf. You've got the Yan toys, Alex from Clockwork Orange, and the Caustic Plastic Highlander, Connor McLeod. Perhaps two things that shouldn't be on the shelf together, but they're sort of being held, shall we say, until there's a big rearrange. Moving across, another bit of a mix and match here. There's Tough Guys, the Cray twins, Tom Hardy, and at the back there is Caustic Plastic Peter Sellers. Once again, this is a bit of a holding shelf until we can, until the whole thing gets rearranged. Moving up, Damn Toys, The Godfather, and the classic Godfather on the right is the one that started my 6-scale obsession. So he is responsible. Both great figures though, absolutely fantastic. And moving up, once again, Big Chief Studios, this time Live and Let Die. So we've got Roger Moore, we've got John Seymour, we've got Baron Samedi. Yeah, great figures there. This one in particular really is something special. This fantastic piece of work there. And that Roger Moore likeness is very, very good. And finally, we move on to the Pacino shelf. So what have we got here? Well, on the left is the Present Toys Scarface. In the middle there we have the Present Toys Heat, and I do love the head sculpt on that one. That is very, very good. And finally on the right, another personal grail that took me a while to get my hands on is the Blitzway, Carlito's Way, Pacino. I'm loving that as well. So that is everything. So I suppose all it remains for me to say is thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this quick tour. Well, quick. Maybe not so quick. If you've enjoyed it, please press the like button. Please comment, please subscribe, hit that bell notification icon. We've got lots more stuff coming up. There's what I know is coming up. We've got a review of the Sideshow Clint Eastwood figures, the Dirty Harry and the Man with No Name. They're coming up soon, as is the Mars Toys Prank Villain. And we're going to be doing some retro reviews as well. So yeah, please subscribe, and so you don't miss anything. And from now, that's everything from me. So happy collecting, and look after yourselves.